Hey everyone, this is going to be my thoughts on the NXT Women's Invasion on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. This past week, I'm going to go into detail on every single female that came up this week and give my thoughts and opinion on each one of them and who I think is going to really benefit the most from this. So this past Monday night on Raw, we see that Paige returned after a long hiatus. This has been highly rumored for quite some time. Last week she was on Raw, but they didn't have a spot to fill for her yet. So after Survivor Series, they obviously threw in a storyline and Paige was not alone. So she comes out, the crowd goes bonkers for her. And she says she's not alone. So I'm thinking the iconic duo, obviously, right? Because they are like one of the biggest names in NXT for the women's division. But no, creative definitely took a turn and they swerved us with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. So as I said, I am going to go into each one of the females, but I think I'm going to wait until after I mention the SmackDown females first. So Paige's girls start attacking the girls in the ring. Then they attack Alexa Bliss backstage. Paige is definitely going to win the Raw Women's title very soon. It's so obvious by the way that they are presenting it to us. And I think Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are going to be right by Paige's side throughout this. But fast forwarding to SmackDown Live, Naomi's having a backstage promo. And we see Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan of NXT make their debut and start attacking Naomi. So this invasion angle is basically just a quick way to get in a lot of females at once. And I do think in 2018 for the Royal Rumble, there will be a Royal Rumble match for the women. There is 5 women that just got called up at once in one shot within 24 hours, 5 new women. That's a lot of women. So, like I promised, I'm going into each one of the women and giving my opinion on who I think is going to succeed out of all these 5 girls who, in my opinion, is not ready. I'm going to also mention a quick rant about the iconic duo. So without further ado, here we go. So, starting off with the Raw women, Sonya Deville. Absolutely love her. She is someone in NXT that was just starting to get a little bit of notoriety. She was a decent heel, but she wasn't the top heels like Billie and Peyton. She was someone that they could partner up with if it was a 6-woman tag. They would ask Sonya. She was overlooked, but she's definitely getting a lot better in the ring. She is an MMA fighter, and she's the first openly gay female in the company. Currently, of course. And I love that. I think she's a really good worker. And she's very young. She's got a long way to go. But you might have remembered her from Tough Enough, as well as the next girl, Mandy Rose. She was on the same season of Tough Enough as Sonya Deville. And I don't know much about Mandy, to be honest with you. I know she was on Total Divas for a season, but it flopped. And I know she works a lot of house shows in Florida for NXT. Other than that, I don't know anything about her. I understand that like Vince loves the hot blondes, so she definitely fills that role very perfectly. I can see her filling Summer Rae's role very easily, being the very pretty blonde, being a manager. I'm not sure if she's good in the ring because I don't know anything about her beyond what I said. Sonya Deville is definitely the star out of the 2. She could go in the ring. She has a cool character. And I think she's really marketable. She's interesting, and I think she will go far. Now, onto the SmackDown Live new additions. So, in my opinion, it looks like Ruby Riott is going to be the leader of this faction. Ruby Riott is probably the most successful out of all 5 of these women. She is an amazing face, but now she's a heel. But she's very unique looking. You know, she's got the dark hair, the tattoos on tattoos. She's got so much ink on her body. And that's interesting. It's an interesting look. And she was very, very, very well known on the indie circuit before she got signed. So I think she is definitely the biggest star the biggest acquisition to the main roster out of these 5 women. And I think she's going to go the furthest out of all of these women. And she probably is the best wrestler out of all 5 of these women, hands down. She's someone who never really got her shine in NXT. She was always lost in the shuffle as a babyface because there were bigger baby faces in the company at the time. And, you know, she was always like under Ember Moon. So she was kind of in her shadow in terms of being a babyface. So she was obviously never going to get that top spot in NXT. So I guess that's why she was like the main acquisition of this call up for the women's division. So I think she's going to go really far. I really like her. I also really enjoy the fact that she doesn't have breast implants. I know it's awkward and weird to say, but it's refreshing to see a girl with small boobs on the main roster, considering we all grew up in a time where they pushed breast implants on the women. It's amazing to see someone like Ruby Riott, an alternative looking girl with no boobs whatsoever, make an impact. I think it's awesome. So the second girl is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is someone who has been in NXT the longest out of anyone, really. She's been there since 2014, late 2014. She's really not a good wrestler, in my opinion. I honestly think they're going to have to repackage Liv because it's way too close with the gimmick in terms of Carmella. Carmella and Liv do not like each other. If any of you know, Liv Morgan did date Enzo, and Enzo is very close to Big Cass, and Big Cass is dating Carmella. So by association, Carmella does not like Liv, and Liv does not like Carmella in any sense of the word. They had each other blocked on Twitter. So I think one of them have to change up their gimmick because it's way too similar. And obviously the company has a lot to do with Carmella. They have a lot planned for her in 2018. So she's going to be the next SmackDown Live Women's Champion. So obviously it's going to be Liv that's going to have to change up her gimmick. But I don't see her going very far on the main roster. She's not very good in the ring. And last but not least, we have Sarah Logan. She competed in the Mae Young Classic. She was known as Crazy Mary Dobson on the Indies. She's not really well known, but she is a decent worker. I just think she's going to fill spots, and that's really it. I don't think that she's going to be a huge talent. I think Sonya Deville and Ruby Riott, out of all these 5 women, have the biggest chances of going far in the company. And I also would say Mandy Rose, just on pure appearance. She's very beautiful, especially to what WWE standards are. You know, the tan, blonde, big boob, they love that. Vince will forever love that look. And I could see those 3 going far. I could see Sonya and Ruby going far just based on wrestling ability, and then Mandy going far just on like a managerial, like appearance-wise role. So that being said, the iconic duo. So I understand why they chose to keep the iconic duo from being called up, because they are the top heels of NXT. I definitely think there's a bigger reason for this. I think Peyton Royce is going to win at NXT TakeOver Philly for the Royal Rumble weekend. It has to be. Who else can challenge Ember Moon besides Peyton or Billy? You know, I definitely think that they're going to be called up in 2018. I think the iconic duo will 100% be called up Raw after WrestleMania. They're a huge, huge duo in NXT, and they're 2 of the top biggest females in NXT, and I think they're going to get their own call up. It's not going to be 5 random women. It's going to be just them getting called up to either Raw or SmackDown. But to be quite honest with you, there are a lot of women on each shows now. You have 3 women on SmackDown and now 3 women on Raw. Just got added, including Paige, of course. So there's a lot of shoes to fill, but I definitely think they held off on Peyton Royce and Billie Kay being called up because Peyton Royce is going to win that NXT title in January. So I think it's kind of a blessing that the iconic duo did not get called up, because I really fear for these women that just got called up, because they really didn't have a name in NXT besides Ruby Riott and maybe Sonya Deville. So I don't know what's going to happen with them on the main roster, but I wish them well. I'm just happy that NXT is the place to be right now, and Iconic Duo, maybe this is a blessing in disguise, because if these new women that just got called up are getting booked to shit in a month or two, maybe it is a blessing, to be honest. And I want the Iconic Duo to have an impactful debut once they hit that main roster, because they're incredible and they are the future. They are the top heels of NXT. They cannot lose them just yet. They have to build some heels up before that Triple H can say, okay, I trust you to go to the main roster. He doesn't want to lose his top heels, and I can understand that. You know, Peyton Royce is everything. She's queen as fuck, and he doesn't want to get rid of them yet because he's scared to lose them, because they are that iconic, of course. But my prediction is Raw after WrestleMania, that's when we get to see the legends, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, grace our TV screens. With that being said, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos coming soon. It's all about Ruby Riott and Sonya Deville.